Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It is Sat Chat time. I hope you're having a great week. It's been a good week. It's been a little unexpected, but it's been a good one. Well, oh my goodness, what have I done? It's been, okay, so last week when I did Sat Chat, I said that I was going to be going to the Botanical Gardens, and we did that last Friday. That was so much fun. I got to hang out with a couple other YouTubers, Shauna from Caution Artist at Play, and Angela from Clark Fine Art, and my friend Karen, and we painted at the Botanical Gardens. And it was kind of calling for rain, but we just lucked out because we got there. And I'll link to all their websites and channels and stuff down below if you want to go check them out. We got there, it was overcast, but it had just stopped raining. We painted all afternoon. We went and grabbed some dinner, and we sat outside, we watched a sturgeon jumping in the Kennebec River. And then as soon as we got in the car to head home, it started raining again. So it was just like, just meant to be. It was amazing. We got a couple paintings done. Oh, I have my sketchbook. Do I have? I'm not sure if they're in this one or not. I've been juggling sketchbooks here. Is that? Yeah. So I'll show you what I did at the Botanical Gardens. I started off with, I like to call it my bad pancake, but I just kind of sat down, and this was the first thing I did, which was just a panoramic of the, we were kind of sitting over by the pond with the aquatic plants and stuff, and so I just did a pen and ink and then just added watercolor to it. So I did that, and then the other ladies were still painting there, so I started wandering around and getting some photos, and I spotted an iris. It was covered with dewdrops, and so I painted that real quick. And then we wandered around a little bit. We didn't have too many hours there because it is quite a ways away, and they closed at 5, and it was raining in the morning, so we didn't want to show up when it was raining. And so before we left, we were kind of hanging around in the, kind of near the visitor center, near the cafe, and there were all these gorgeous poppies. So I did just a pen and ink of poppies, and then on Monday I did a live stream where we compared the tubes versus the pan core watercolors, and I just colored that. I painted that pen and ink drawing on Monday during that live stream if you want to check that out. So I did finally get that video done where I compared the dried down tube core watercolors, which I've used for, oh my gosh, I have a video the first time I tried them. I did a review of the High Chroma set. Those were the first that I bought. And I think that still is a great set to buy, the Tube High Chroma set, if you're curious about core paints, because they're super vibrant, they're super whooshy, and I feel like it's a really good example of the uniqueness of that line. And after I got those, I'm like, oh my gosh. And the 6 tube sets were really affordable. I think they still are, actually. And so then I bought the neutral, and there were 3 like 6 tube sets that didn't have any duplications, and then like down the line a little further I got the 24 set, which had a few duplications, but they're all stuff that I had used up anyway. So yeah, so I was curious as how the pans would compare, and if you're curious too, you can go check out that video. I live streamed it on Monday, so it's probably going to be under the live tab on my YouTube channel if you're trying to find it. So I think it's kind of weird that if you're in your subscription feed, you can scroll back and you'll see if people posted live videos or they posted recorded videos. I don't know if shorts will show up in your subscription feed, but anyway, that's how you'll see it. But then when you go back to a channel, you're trying to find a video, and if it's a live video, it's not going to show up with the regular video. So just to kind of give you an idea of how that works. I'm kind of feeling self-conscious about this kerchief. I sewed this a few years ago, and I made a skirt to go with it, and I have no idea whatever became of the skirt, but this wants to keep sliding back on my head because it's not a very big kerchief, so I can't pull it too much forward. See, it's got like cherries on it, and I had remade my cherry earrings this week, and I thought, oh, I want to wear my appley tablecloth sundress with cute cherry earrings and this cute cherry kerchief, but it keeps sliding back on my head, and I've got to do a hour-long live stream for Michael's this afternoon, and I'm just worried it's going to be like down around my neck. I clipped it in. I took these like butterfly clips and clipped it in, so hopefully it won't go too far, but I might have to go and employ the use of some bobby pins. Oh, and I was so bummed because I had the cutest little curl here because I used hot rollers in my hair. But have you ever like put rollers in your hair and then you end up with this big snarl at the end? Like the hair must have like bent over weird when you got the ends tucked in to the curler. So I took my large barrel curling iron and tried to just kind of smooth it out, and I ended up just straightening it out. So that's a little unfortunate. But so then I had to like straighten this curl out a little bit because they didn't match, and then it's like, Lindsay, you need to do you film your Snapchat, or you're not gonna have time to. So that's why we're at this this junction of my hairstyle today. But exciting thing about this dress is it has pockets, and so I put my old phone case back on my phone because it's a lot slimmer, and I can put phone in one pocket, wallet in my other pocket, and I can go out tonight. So I'm wicked excited for that because it's been a great week, but I'm glad to just be able to kick back, relax, and enjoy my Friday night. So other plein air events. So earlier this week it was Tuesday. So as you know, I hate making doctor's appointments, and one of my daughters was having an issue with her contact lenses, my daughter Maisie, and she said they didn't feel right, and I knew she was due for an eye appointment, but we had to reschedule because she was heading out to the island to work and couldn't and wasn't going to be able to make it, and I was going to be in France, and it was just like it was just not great timing. And so she said her contacts were bothering her. So I'm like, well, you got to call the eye doctor and see what they say, because I'm not an optician. I don't know. And so they wanted to see her. And so she needed a ride from the ferry terminal to come back to civilization. And so I thought, well, I'm going to drive all the way out there. It's like a 2-hour drive to the ferry terminal. It's like, I might as well go down early and then just go out on the island, and I can do some painting while she's working, and then we can ride the late ferry back. And so we got out there. Turns out she actually got done work early so she could show me around, and we did some painting, and I have some paintings here to share. I did post them on my Instagram and on my post them on my Instagram and also my Substack. So if you I send out like a monthly newsletter on Substack. It's free to subscribe. So if you want to subscribe, I think I have the link in the video description. If not, I'll make sure I add it. If I forget, just let me know and I will add it. But I also posted the link to that on my blog. It's on the sidebar all the time if you want to join that. And then on Instagram I post photos, but I know a lot of people don't want to use Instagram because of it's owned by Facebook and all of that. So let's see. I don't know what order I should go here. I'm going to do my favorite first, and of course it's rocks. And let me turn that down a little bit. I don't know if it's gonna bleach it out too much. So this was Lobster Cove. It was so foggy. So we were sitting on the rocks, and this is Nujabi watercolor paper. When I built this sketchbook, I just put a bunch of different watercolor papers in there so I'd have some variety. And this is a rough handmade Indian paper, and it was so good for doing the rocks. Hopefully it focuses on that. I had a lot of fun painting that, and that's the one I probably spent the most time on, maybe half an hour. I'm not 100% sure, but it's funny, when I'm painting plein air, I always think I'm painting there longer than I actually am. And then we climbed up, I can't remember the name of the cliffs, I think I wrote it down, Burnt Head Cliffs, 140 feet. And so it was so foggy we could barely see the water underneath, and birds kept flying like underneath where we were sitting, so I was trying to capture the birds, draw the birds there. And then I painted that, and I didn't want to overwork it, and I saw these daisies growing out of a rock next to me, so I just did a quick sketch of that. Daisies are white obviously, but I didn't want to paint around them and have it all fussy, so I just did the daisies kind of like a grayish purple mixed color. And then oh yes, I did a quick sketch of the harbor because we had to go back to the ferry, and so we could kind of wait there and watch for the ferry to come in. And so I did a 15-minute pen and ink and watercolor wash of that. I don't really think that's done. I feel like I could do more to it, but I'm not sure if I will, because I just kind of like how fresh it is, I guess. And then on walking back to the ferry, I took a photo of this little camper, and it's called the Palette Creperie. And they make crepes. They make custom crepes. And I just thought that little camper thing was so cute. And so I did that. There's a time lapse of that on my YouTube channel. And then I did, there's a real-time version in Critique Club if you want to check that out. I'll link that down below. And then I did a couple sketches here when I was in the, I don't know if that's going to show up on camera or not, but when I was on the ferry waiting to leave out of Port Clyde, I did a 4-minute sketch of a boat and an 8-minute sketch of just a few boats in the harbor, and they were just drifting, and just in the 8 minutes when I was sketching that, 2 of the boats completely turned their perspective. So that was a really fun challenge to sketch those in there while I was waiting. And then when I was on the boat and we were on our way to Monhegan, I was just kind of looking out the window, and I think I saw a minke whale. It was a whale. But like, because you could see that, I could see the fin. I'm like, that is way too big to be a porpoise. It was big, and it was fairly close to the boat. And then I saw the little black fin on the end. The whale was black, and I'm like, oh my word, that's a whale. I was like freaking out, and people were like, oh, I'm in enclosed space with a crazy person. But I was like, look at that, did you see? Did you see? And then at another point, I saw flippers. I saw like flippers flap the water. So I don't know what that was. I mean, there are humpbacks in the area, but it was not even 10 miles off the coast, so I don't think they would be that close. But yeah, so seeing that whale was such a thrill because we went on a whale watch a couple of years ago and we didn't see anything. We saw puffins because we did the whale puffin combo. I didn't see any puffins out on Monhegan. I know there's some around there because Maisie's seen them before, like on one of those little islands off. But I think because it was so foggy, the visibility wasn't that great. But we did see these birds that were huge. They were like the size of geese. Like they were the size of Canadian geese, and they were black and white. In the water, and I don't know what they were, but they were, I could see them from where I was painting the rocks at Lobster Cove, so that was nice. It was so beautiful there. I love hiking, I love painting, so it was two of my favorite things, and I can't wait to go back. I think if I go back, I'm definitely going to stay overnight, maybe 1 or 2 nights, because there's so many there. I mean, the island is only like 0.7 miles wide and 1.7 miles long, but there's like, it's kind of like rocky and mountainous and stuff, so there's a lot of really good hiking and just really diverse nature, and there's pheasants everywhere. They're just like wild. They're so beautiful, just roaming around everywhere, and it was really, really nice. I definitely want to go back. And the coolest thing is Monhegan is such an artist mecca that there's been so many, I would say probably most contemporary artists, American artists, that you would have heard of have spent time on Monhegan Island painting. And just to think, oh, my butt could be on the same rock that N.C. Wyeth's butt was on one time, or John Marin, or Marsden Hartley, or Jackson Pollock maybe. Who knows? Who knows who else has... it feels like everybody at one time or another has gone to Monhegan to paint. So so I was really excited to be able to do that, and now I know how easy it is to buy ferry tickets online and just go out there. It's no big deal. So I'm definitely going to do that again. And that wasn't even on my radar to do for a couple more weeks because Jason and Lila went out to visit Maisie a couple weekends ago, and we didn't have anyone to watch the dog. And because it's a 2-hour drive to the ferry, and then it's an hour ride from there to the island, and then so it's like an all-day event. Like I left I think I left 7 something in the morning, around 7:30. They say you should be there an hour before the ferry leaves. I think 45 minutes is sufficient. I think as long as you're there a little more than a half an hour, because they say that if it's busy, even if you've bought your tickets, if you don't check in or get in line half an hour before, they won't guarantee your ticket, which is kind of crazy. It wasn't that busy. So this time of year you probably don't have to, but the construction traffic through Searsport and all these different little coastal areas was a bit nuts, so I'm glad I had a little extra time. But anyway, so yeah, so I left around 7:45 in the morning and didn't get back until about 8 because we stopped for dinner and whatnot. But it was a great day. It was a fun day. It was perfect because I was having a really hard time getting anything done this week. I don't know if you ever get into I'm sure you do. I think we all do. We all get into these moods where we just can't make anything good, It's like, why will nothing good come out of my hands? What is wrong? And that's kind of how I was, how especially Tuesday was going. I don't even remember what I did Monday, but Tuesday for sure, nothing was happening. I struggled all day to try to make something. I was trying to work on a few different projects and nothing was coming out well. And then it's really frustrating when you have some time that you could actually spend on something, but either A, nothing you try comes out well, or B, you can't decide on what you want to make. And I was just thinking about that because when we were getting ready to go plein air painting at the Botanical Gardens, Shauna was like, what are you bringing? And I said, very little. I'm going to bring my watercolors. I'm going to bring a couple sketchbooks so I can be working on one when the other one's drying, and a couple brushes, maybe some waterproof pens. That's about it. And because I know myself, I know the more I bring, the less I will get done. And if I don't have to waste too many decisions on what I'm going to use, then I have so many more decisions left to like, well, do I want to paint that? Do I want to paint that? Plus I can get more done because I'm just going to grab the one thing I have and start working on it. And it was funny because I was going, because after that painting, trip, I realized my Cheap Joe's pseudo sables really need to be replaced because I'm still, I love the number 12. That's my favorite. So I did take some scissors and try to like sharpen up the end a little bit because it was just getting too blunt, but I use that for washes. The other brushes were just getting they're smaller and they're getting way too blunt to be useful. And so I went through my stash of travel brushes and I put in a couple of my Mimic travel brushes, the 1/4 inch flat, and then like the number 4 round. I lost my number 2 round, I think, in France. But the number 4 and the number 2, the 1/4 inch and the number 4 round is what I brought. And then I took one of the Balik ones. I mentioned them when I bought them. I got a set of 6 for $25, and they're synthetic quills, but they're not synthetic quills like what we typically think of synthetic quills being, like you know, the soft, like this. They're not like this. They're not the black softer hair. It's like a golden tafflon hair, like this stuff right here. And so it comes to a razor sharp point. It's really great for doing rocks and other details and stuff. So I grabbed one of those, and those were just ideal. And then I had these other short brushes that I had kind of DIY'd, and they were in my bag, and I was gonna just get rid of them or take them out of my bag. I'm like, oh, they don't weigh very much, and of course I also use a 1/4 inch, a 3/4 inch angled brush. I use that for like the first probably 2/3 of any painting I do. I don't have one do I have one right here? Well, it's kind of like this, but it's an angle instead of a flat. Really great brush to have, and mine's like a cheap no-name brand. It just, I don't have to worry about it. If I lose it, I can get another one pretty easily, but I use that too. And I have one of my liners from my brush set with craft ammo, but it's great for random rocks, but I did not take very good care of it because it's sitting on the edge of my bag, kind of sticking out, and it's gotten hit a few times. So it's seen better days, but that's not the brush's fault. That's my fault for not caring for it. But it's actually really good for doing those rough rocks and stuff. So I'm pretty well pared down. I do have a little tin of color pencils, and I do have a little tin of postcards and bookmarks in case I just want something really quick to do. But Maisie painted with me, so she did a couple things in this sketchbook I'll share with you. Hopefully, I don't think she would mind. She did a picture of Manana Island, which is this island that's right next to Monhegan, and it's got like one house on it and tons of sheep and goats. And let me just turn this down. I don't know if her lines are dark enough. She was using a finer tipped pen, I think. But it's just this really rocky, it's rocky down towards the water, but then it's all grassy, and you see goats and sheep, and it's so cool. I'm like, who lives out there? That must be so fun to live out. Well, I bet it's really isolating and lonely. I probably wouldn't do very well because I don't think I would do well out there in the winter period because it's isolating enough to be on the mainland during the winter. I can't imagine. And then she did from the cliffs that we were at, the breakneck. Is it called breakneck cliffs? What is that called? They can't call it breakneck cliffs. That would be an awful thing. People fall off the cliffs and break their neck. We don't want, that's bad publicity. But she did a scene from up there too. And so we shared my watercolors because I didn't have a spare set of watercolors in there. And then luckily I had those spare brushes because I just handed them over to her and she used those and my pens and whatnot. So so I definitely have got my kit down, I think, to just the essentials. And I'm always saying, where can I save some weight? Because I have a full bottle of sunscreen and a full bottle of bug spray. I rarely ever use the bug spray. So I'm thinking about getting rid of the bug spray and just getting one of those little tea tree oil rollers, because around here, I walk in the woods every day and I use the tea tree oil roller. First of all, I wear long pants and my socks over my pants, so yeah, I look like a total dork. But I put the tea tree oil on my wrist and on my neck and on my ankles, and I don't really have an issue with like ticks or mosquitoes or anything, so I might be able to just omit that and then just get a travel size sunscreen. I rarely use the sunscreen when I'm out and about because if it's a nice day and I'm planning on being outside, I wear face sunscreen every day anyway, just as my facial moisturizer, but I will just coat up with regular SPF 50 when I get out of the shower anyway in the summer if I think there's any chance I'm going to be outside, so I don't have to stop and find sunscreen. So I probably could get rid of those. Oh, and you guys, thank you. Several of you independently recommended that I buy some seatbelt covers, padded seatbelt covers for my backpack straps, because I had mentioned last week that I love this backpack, and I was wearing a denim shirt because I knew I was going to be using my painting backpack, and the straps are so thin, they're like that webbed material, and they just kind of like, it's not good if you don't have anything, like if you're on like a tank top or a t-shirt, you want to have something padded there, and they're like, oh, get some backpacks, some seatbelt straps. And I'd never heard of these things. They're all over Amazon. I ordered a set, so I can't wait to try those out, because that's going to be a game changer, especially in the summer if it's hot. Like when I was going to paint at the falls, the big waterfall in Bingham, and I had to wear my backpack because you need your hands free because you're like climbing up rocks to get to the top of the waterfall. And it was very uncomfortable. That backpack was very uncomfortable, but it's such a great backpack that it's got a stool built in. It's meant for painting. It's a Grumbacher bag. So I'm glad that now I can have a little more comfort there. So thank you guys for that that idea. And it's funny because like 5 of you people had that idea independently, and I thought that was really fun. So so that was awesome. Oh, I also want to mention, if you are in need of any markers, ink refills, or marker sketchbooks, or fine liners, that sort of thing, Ohuhu is having their 8th anniversary sale. And so the way that their sales go is that it's a percentage off your total order. So depending on how much you spend, you can save between 15 and 25% on your order, and that's through the end of the month. And I'll put a link in the video description so you can find that. But so I don't want to encourage people to buy things they don't need or can use or will use or not or whatnot. But if you had the Ohuhu markers already and some are going dry and you need refills, it's a great time to pick them up. Or if you want to try any of their sketchbooks are really nice. The one I probably use the most is, and I think I have it right here, is and it's available in a square format, or that's like 9x9-ish, or 8x8 or 9x9, or it's they have a 9.5x11 size. There's a square and a rectangle. I don't know exactly the sizes, don't quote me. But this is the one that I use the most, and it's because the paper is kind of more like cardstock or drawing paper. It's smooth, but it's not slick, so I can do colored pencils over the top of these. And I find that these are just a little easier to blend on this type of paper than on the other papers they have. They also have one that's kind of like a Bristol, and that has I think it's like got a cardboard cover and it's spiral bound, and it's got a sunflower on it. Those are really nice too. If you're just doing straight marker, they blend pretty well. And then there is their new paper that doesn't bleed through to the back side, which actually, it's really nice. There's a color shift though from when you start coloring, so you do have to kind of anticipate that your colors are going to be a little bit lighter after it dries. You know, just how it's a little bit of a learning curve there. It's great paper. It's very similar to the render paper. I don't think the shift is as dramatic as the render paper has, but and I think the reason for that, I think those papers that are made that don't bleed through the back, I'm pretty sure they're laminated. I'm pretty sure the papers must be laminated, where there's the front side that's white. I think there's like a gray side, a gray sheet in the middle, and then another white sheet on the back for the next page, because that would make sense why it's darker when you color it, and then it gets lighter and brighter again. So I don't know, but I really like this paper. I use it a lot. I've been using this sketchbook for a few years. I don't do marker all that frequently, so I love this one. Happy little cupcake. So I should do it more, but I just like so many mediums that it's hard to oh, this was a favorite. So it's kind of hard to narrow it down, but I feel like this paper for me works with my marker plus mixed media techniques a little bit more than the other ones, but they're all great papers. It just, you know, so it's a nice time to have a look. If you knew you needed something, you have till the end of the month, so you don't need to be like, oh my gosh, I got to decide today, right now. No, you got time. But yeah. Or the markers, of course, too. If you were going to be investing in a big set of markers, that would be a significant savings. What else is on my list for this fine sat chat? Oh, we're at 24 minutes. Oh, this is just kind of funny. sometimes I'll see something, I'm like, oh, that might be an interesting topic. I I like to scroll on Instagram and see, because I only follow art accounts and some art companies, and I don't even know if I don't even think I follow Daniel Smith, but I'd seen, but if you just go to Instagram, you're going to see some people you follow and some people that you don't follow. They'll just kind of serve stuff up into your feed. And I often forget to click the word Instagram and click following. But anyway, I saw this, it was a Daniel Smith post, and they were swatching a color, and they're like, guess what color? Which I'm like, what a brilliant post to put on social media. You're going to get engagement because people want to guess. And I want to guess, and I'm curious, so I clicked to see the comments to see what other people guessed or if I'm right or whatnot. So they were swatching a gray. And what color is this? And I thought, ooh, that could be Payne's Gray, that could be Sodalite, that could be, and I'm like kind of checking off in my head what that could be. And then I looked at the comments, and then there were like probably a dozen more names of colors that they thought it was, that different people thought it was. They had like something like 300 comments. I'm like, what a brilliant social media trick is to like do something like that and ask a question. I just was like, wow, that was smart. But there were all these guesses, and then it was just like, you know, if you had any one of those colors, you really wouldn't need all the other ones. And you could, and that's a color you could easily mix with like ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, or, you know, a myriad of sedimenting, or at least having one sedimentary color and then neutralizing it. And so I was thinking about that, and I was just thinking about how a lot of us have the complete set syndrome, and we want one of everything, and how it's not really a benefit to have one of everything. And in fact, the more you have, the less you end up doing. That's the whole problem I was having this week about like not knowing where to begin, basically having too many options, having an embarrassment of riches, having too many choices, and then not getting anything done. Or you start working with something and then you're like, oh, maybe I should have worked with this. Because like when I started the camper painting here, I actually started doing, I'd say acrylics, but it's actually not acrylics. They're the Aquila paints. Remember I told you I found a big tube of white and I ordered that. I'm like, oh good, I can use those paints. I love those paints. And it just wasn't happening. But then I was thinking, oh, maybe I should have used gouache on paper. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have done that. And then I just finally just went to my tried and true. And I'm like, you need to get this done because you're going to be late on your critique club, your first critique club painting for the month. And, but, you know, when I go out in a plein air, I have that small bag with very few choices. I'm just, as soon as I see something pretty I want to paint, I'm down there and painting in like 20 seconds because I don't have those choices to make. I just grab a pen or grab a pencil and then grab and paint and off to the races, right? And so I was thinking about that this company makes a product, and I'm not calling out Daniel Smith, it could be anybody, right? Makes a product and they're swatching it, guess what color? And there's like 20 colors that it could be. And do we really need 20 virtually similar colors? When I go to refill a palette, I'm going to eyeball it a lot of times. Like it might be Hansa Yellow Light, it may be Cadmium Lemon. Yeah, they have different properties, but the tone, you know, I'm not going to be that picky. I might have Quin Rose, I might have Permanent Rose, I'm going to get some sort of pinky red, you know, whatever I have that I want to use, I want to try. It could be Permanent Alizarin Crimson, you know, I mean, it doesn't have to be that specific color. There are so many that will do the job, but I think that as time has gone on, we're believing that we need to have that specific color and that specific brand and all of the colors, or we're not going to have the options. But too much variety doesn't give us more creativity or more options. It actually gives us less because we waste all of our good decisions just trying to decide what freaking paint we want to use. So there's a little food for thought for your weekend, and I hope that you get those supplies, the first ones within reach, and you go paint something and get creative and have a good time. So that's all from me for today. I want to thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye!